before vacation, you know, we are continuing with Madam's Ride the Bus. Yes, what people are asking. No, no 8 marks question this time, Chetna. In this year, maximum marks will be 5. No 8 marks question is there. Yes, 8 marks question is there. Remember in class 9, 8 marks question was there of value-based question, not directly from text. It was value-based. This time also it will be value-based, but not 8 for 5 marks. If you just go to that website, download that sample question, you will get everything there. As I told, English was easy, and this coronavirus made our English easier. The way the syllabus actually had been rationalized, the chapters had been excluded, and 40 marks of MCQ over there. I feel everybody will get or should get more than 75 out of 80 in English. If you don't get 75 out of 80, then you will be loser. I feel so, because the scenario has something like this. Okay, so we were continuing with Madam Rides the Bus, the story about that little girl Valley here. So let us resume that we saw. Yes, I marked in my book that in page number 122, part 3, the first paragraph of part 3 had been completed in page number 122, where Valley had already undertaken his bus journey. Now Valley was thinking that how difficult it was to undertake this bus journey, because he was only 8 years old girl, and for the first time he was traveling by bus, and that too without anyone's knowledge. Anyone's means without his mother, father's, any guardian's knowledge, that he just traveled to the town, and her aim was not to roam around the town, but her aim was to ride the bus, and it was completed. Now he was thinking that how tough it was, and how he had planned to accomplish this, how he had planned it. Now here it was that part 3. It started with that her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it, that we know. Afterwards, what happened? Just let's start from the second paragraph of part 3, page number 122. First flight, Madam Rides the Bus. I feel you remembered the story. This 10 days gap did not have much effect on what we are doing. Now, after she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. It was very tough. That she knew that if she would tell to her mother that she wanted to ride the bus, she wanted to go to the town for having this experience of riding the bus, her mother would never permit her. That is why she had to undertake the journey without her mother's knowledge, and that was a great problem. That was a great problem for an 8 years old girl only, that she had to come out of her house, and she had to stay 2 or 3 hours outside of his house, and it was really a tough thing for her. So that is why she was thinking that after she had enough money saved, she had to save. We discussed that she had to save her stray coins, stray money, that where from he got the money, that she had to save it for paying that fare, bus fare, and she had done it. Now the next problem was to slip out of a house without her mother's knowledge. But she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from about 1 to 4 or so. Now this was the time, and that is the reason that she has chosen that afternoon time. This is that she had noticed, or she actually noticed, means it was in her idea that her mother take a nap. Nap means short sleep during afternoon, that short sleep, that after lunch her mother usually takes a nap from 1 to 4. Valley always used these hours for her excursions as she stood looking from the doorway of her house, or sometimes even ventured out into the village. Today, these same hours could be used for her fast excursion outside the village. Do you have any queries? Do you have any question? If you not, then I am asking you, why the word excursion has been placed inside a quotation? Why the word excursion has been placed inside a quotation? Will you answer, anyone? I don't have much time. Let me answer. Actually, the word excursion is used that when you are going for an outing, but you must gather some knowledge. It's not all the time that you are making fun. Outing means, that is why excursion is always used with educational excursion. It's not educational visiting or educational journey. It's educational excursion. And that is the reason that here the word has been placed in between that quotation. Excursion means you always wants to gather some knowledge. From school, we will never forget these. Last year also we had an educational excursion. So there we have always the scope to learn something new. Here, Valley had undertaken this journey towards town, but it was excursion to her because this is the first time that she would have this type of experience. She would know that how it feels riding a bus. She would know that how it feels that going to the town. That is the reason the word has been used as excursion, not only outing. Okay, and the word that gathering knowledge is always attached to it, that visiting, and that is why it makes excursion, and that is the reason that why the word excursion has been placed in between a quotation. So here, that Valley always used these hours. These hours means, a question may come, these hours means the hours when her mother takes the nap, and the time is 1 to 4 for her excursion as she stood looking for the doorway of her house, or sometimes, and not only for the first time that she was going to use this hour, actually taking that opportunity, taking the opportunity of her mother's nap from 1 to 4, sometimes she ventured out into the village. Ventured out means went in courageously or cautiously. Sometimes she came out of her house, when from 1 to 4, when mother takes nap after taking lunch, that she goes out and roam around the village. But today, these same could be used for the first excursion outside the village. This is the, we can guess that how thrilling experience it would be. She was going for the first time to ride the bus. She was going for the first time outside of that village, and that too without anyone's knowledge. She must be thrilled. She must be thrilled by this. The bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape, now rushing through a tiny hamlet, or past an odd wayside shop. Now the bus was moving towards the town, and now still she was giving that a narrator was giving this description. The bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape. There was a bare landscape, and the bus was moving alone. Now rushing through a tiny hamlet. What is hamlet? Small village. Hamlet. Yes, one drama was written by such name by great William Shakespeare. But here, Hamlet is small village. Through a tiny hamlet, or past an odd wayside shop, means bus was moving through a village. A small wayside shop was there. Small tiny houses were there. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them, or a pedestrian crossing the road. Yes, this is good experience. She was sitting in that seat in the bus, and when somebody was coming, suppose a vehicle is coming from the opposite side of the bus, and it passes through the bus, and when it passes through the bus, the vehicle is no longer visible. It seems to Valley as if the bus is gobbling the vehicle. Gobbling means swallowing the vehicle. swallowing the vehicle. It's a nice experience. It's very nice experience, that when she could see that a vehicle is coming from the opposite side, and it passes through the bus, and when it went, she could not see the vehicle anymore, and it seemed to her the bus had gobbled it, the bus has swallowed the vehicle. And towards, or even a pedestrian means who is walking, a pedestrian, that as the bus has gobbled the pedestrian as well. But lo, somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all obstacles safely behind. And obstacle means the bar, the bus is moving ahead, by passing all the obstacles there was, and the bus was moving very smoothly. And we have already discussed, it was a very smooth and comfortable journey for Valley. Actually, why not comfortable? Because this is the first time that Valley was undertaking this journey, and as he did not have anything to compare the comfortable seat and all these with anything else. This is the first time that she had experienced sitting inside the bus, and that is why literally it becomes very comfortable to her. Now, trees came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them, and simply stood there helpless for a moment by the side of the road before rushing away in the other direction. And not only that, she had the experience that we know it always happens. It's a really very usual experience for a little girl, that when she could see through the window, she could see that the trees are rushing towards them, and when the bus passes, there is the trees also running to the opposite side. And when exactly the bus was crossing the trees, as if the trees stood there, and then when the bus crosses them, the trees ran opposite side and in the other direction. So this was the usual, usuality. This is very usual experience for a little girl. Suddenly, Valley clapped her hands with glee. Glee means happiness. Now suddenly she could not control her. She was so much happy. She was so much in a joyous mood that she could not control from clapping. So she clapped out of happiness. A young cow, tail high in the air, was running very fast right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. Now, what is the reason that why Valley was clapping? You will have to write 2 marks and 3 marks questions as well. So this type of question might be important. That why do you feel Valley was clapping out of glee, out of happiness here? That a young cow, Valley could see from sitting from the Valley could see through the window that a young cow, tail upright. See the picture. Picture is there. The tail high in the air. The tail was upright in the air. Was running very fast, and the cow was running in front of the bus, and the cow was not giving side to that bus. That scene actually made Valley very happy, and she clapped to express her happiness. The bus slowed to a crawl, and the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. Now the bus had to slow down the speed. The driver had to slow down the speed of the bus, because the young cow with the upright tail, running just in front of the bus without giving any side. And the driver had to decrease the speed of the bus, and the driver was honking. Honking means pressing the horn again and again. But the more he honked, the more frightened the animal became, and the faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. But as the driver was honking, the cow is getting more scared, and as it getting more scared, the girl is running faster and just in front of the bus. And that is why it probably a cow. It doesn't have the intelligence, isn't it? Why it should be scared of the honking? It should give side to the bus, then there will be no problem. But the bus was, running. The cow was, running faster, as if it seemed to the cow that the bus was going to, catch it. And that is why the cow was very scared, and that is why it is cow. And it becomes more frightened, and animal became more faster. It galloped. Galloped means ran quickly, very quickly, always right in front of the bus. And Valley, this scenario, actually this is the extra in our experience. This is the extra thing, and that is why she was overjoyed, and she clapped. Somehow This was very funny to Valley. Yes, Valley found very funny. A young cow was running in front of the bus. She laughed and laughed until there was tears in her eyes. More laughter brings tears. It also happens to all of us. Hey, lady, haven't you laughed enough? Called the conductor. Now the conductor came again. The funny man who actually called Valley as madam. The conductor came to Valley and told, haven't you laughed enough? Have you not laughed enough? Better save some for tomorrow. Oh, today you are laughing all and you will be exhausted all your laugh. Better you just save few laughter for tomorrow. This is jokingly the conductor was telling to Valley. At last the cow moved off the road and soon the bus came to a railroad crossing. And last the bus the cow had given the side to that bus. The cow had actually moved off the road and the bus came to a railroad crossing. I feel you have all experienced the bus standing in that railroad crossing. A speck of a train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. And when the bus stopped at the railroad crossing, Valley could see through the window that a speck of a train. A speck means a small a very small appearance of that train. The train I could see from a large distance, and then the train is getting bigger and bigger when it comes nearer. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle. Tremendous means huge, roar means sound, rattle means trembling. When the train passes the line, and the bus was was outside that gate, at the railroad crossing, it trembled, and the train made a huge roaring and shaking the bus. And as the train passes the railroad crossing, and as if the bus was also shaking. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. Then the gate was uplifted and the bus crossed the railroad and rail station. From there, it traversed a busy, well-laid out shopping street and turning entered a wider thoroughfare. From there, it traversed means it's turned into, it entered into a busy, well-laid out shopping street. So a busy, well laid out shopping street, it tells us that the bus has entered into the town. The road was bare when the bus was coming alone. It was towards the village, by the side of small village. But now as the bus entered into the town, it was a busy and well laid out shopping. Well laid out shopping means that, as it is usual, just think about our road in Burdwan town. The road is there, and by the two sides of the road there are shoppings. There are lots of shops there. So laid out shopping street, turning entered a wider thoroughfare. Thoroughfare means main road, and the bus turned again, and it entered into a main road. Such big, thoroughfare, a busy public road. Okay, a busy public road. Sorry, thoroughfare, a busy public road. Such big, bright-looking shops. This is for the first time in her life, Valley was looking into the shops. Such big, bright-looking, what glittering displays of clothes and other merchandise. Merchandise means things of sale. Now, as you could see, lots of dresses are being displayed, lots of other things are being displayed, and what bright-looking all these things are. Such big crowds, and for the first time, she saw big crowds. Actually, she was born in a village and she lives in a village, so she had not experienced such huge crowd. For the first time she could see such crowd, as this, for the first time she had come to the town, and she saw the lots of shops there displaying all these things, all the dresses, all glittering, all bright up, and all this. She was mesmerized at this experience. Struck dumb with wonder, Valley gaped at everything. Gaped means just looked fixedly, as if looked with open mouth. Looked with open mouth. হয়ে গেল আর কি. And struck dumb with wonder, she was extremely surprised see all these things. Lots of shops, lots of things to see there, glittering things, bright things, and huge crowd. Oof. It's totally different scenario where she lives. Then the bus stopped and everyone got up except Valley. And the bus stopped in that bus stoppage in the town. Everybody got off the bus because everybody had come to the town for their own work. Only Valley actually rode the bus. Only actually her target was to riding the bus, not to get not to roam around the town. So only Valley was riding into the bus. "Hey lady," said the conductor, "aren't you ready to get off?" The conductor did not know that why did Valley ride the bus. So when the bus stopped in that stoppage and everybody had in the depot, in the bus depot in the town, everybody got off the bus and Valley was still sitting. Then the conductor asked Valley, just addressing a lady. She was a child of 8 years only, but the conductor was a funny man, so she was addressing Valley. "Hey lady," said the conductor, "aren't you ready to get off? Aren't you come down of the bus? This is as per as your 30 pies takes you. This is 30 pies is the fare, so 30 pies is completed. Come out of the bus, get off the bus." The conductor is telling. "No," Valley said, "I'm going back on the same bus." Valley told, "No, I'm not going to get off the bus. I will go back with the same bus." She took another 30 pies from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Then Valley told, "Yes, I'm having another 30 pies of 30 pies. Means I'm ready to give the fare for the return journey. I am not here to get off the bus and to roam around the town." Valley told, "I want to go back with the same bus." Okay, and she had given this coin to the conductor. Understood so far? Okay, so today up to this, it's time up. And I feel you have understood. In our next class again, we will continue where we are living. Okay, once again, Subha Vijaya to all of you. So, it's goodbye from my side. But today, we will meet again in our next class. Bye-bye.